Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nikki and this is 28 days of Namastes. So today we'll be continuing to progress upon our asana work that we started a few days ago. So if you're part of this challenge, as you have noticed that we're not just working on the physical part of yoga with the body, but really all of the elements that go along with living a healthy, mindful, amazing life, and that goes for time on and off the mat as well. So we spent some time off the mat, so now we're going to take it to the mat and just continue building. So we first worked with fours to child's pose, or Chakravakasana, and we started in tabletop and exhaled, took us back to child's, working on Mula Bandha. From there, you can do that about 4 or 5 times, and then move into your downward facing dog, which was our second asana. Once we find stability in downward facing dog, we'll walk our feet up to the hands and come up to standing to go into our Uttanasana, that symmetrical forward fold that we worked on. So this brings us to our fourth pose today, or asana, and we'll be working with Warrior One, breaking down the alignment and some modifications that you can take with it. And then from there, we'll work dynamically with the breath for Warrior One, or also Virabhadrasana One. And then from working dynamically, we'll actually hold a forward fold. So we're going to hold pyramid pose, and just stay there and steady the breath. And then we're going to go from there into Revolved Triangle, so twisting the body and holding that as well for about 5 or 6 breaths. So really today is a 3-for-1er. So you get them all. You get them all today. So go ahead and roll out your mats and let's get started. So I want you to stand in the middle of your mat. Going over Warrior One, I will start with you guys' profile, then I'm going to face you as well so you get both visuals on this one. Because it's a pose that the warrior poses are ones that we talk about and we know a lot and we hear a lot about, but oftentimes, I know even for myself, it was something that I wasn't quite sure if I was doing correct for a very, very long time of practicing it. So we're going to work with it today with the right leg forward. So taking your right leg forward and taking your left leg back. We want to have the front heel in line with the arch of the back foot. And the legs are really wide so that when you bend your right leg, it makes this square shape or a 90-degree angle bend with the knee stacked on top of the ankle. And your right toes are facing the mat and the left toes are at a diagonal. So we want to spin the heels so that we're firmly planted into the earth, feeling really stabilized here. Yeah. And ideally we want the back leg straight, but if some of us have some tightness or lower back issues, we can for sure bend it, and that way we keep the hips a little bit more neutral. And the hips are squared, so we really think about drawing the front hip back, or the front leg back, and the left hip forward. Shoulders stacked over the hips, so it's actually technically Warrior One is a back bend pose. But for today's practice, we're going to take a little bit of that back bend out by bringing our shoulders slightly in front of the hips. That'll just keep the mind a bit more quiet and calm for what we're going for eventually into our meditation, which we will get to by the time our 28 days is over. So let's go ahead and take that now. So step your right leg forward, I'll mirror you. Take your left leg back. We want about heel to arch alignment. If this is already feeling wobbly for you, take your legs wider to perfectly fine adjustment. That way you can really feel stable and not wobbly in your body. Remember, we want to stay focused on our breath and take the modifications that we need to so we can keep the integrity of the breath throughout the entire pose. And a good way to make sure your hips are square here. So the big difference between Warrior One and Warrior Two is the orientation of our hips. So whereas Warrior Two, our hips are open, Warrior One, our hips are squared closed. So now draw your right hip back as you bring your left hip more forward, and that'll square your hips off. Really bend the leg, so it's almost like your thigh is parallel with the floor. You put a drink of water on it, or a glass of wine, or whatever, and it wouldn't spill over. So you want that pretty deep. So we're getting into the legs pretty good already. So I'm going to take my stance a little bit more narrow, so the heel to arch alignment. Hips are square. We want to draw the navel in and make sure that we're not arching out the back. So we draw the tailbone under slightly. That's where that little bit of a bend in the back leg may come in handy. So feel free to take that. Then normally we'll bring the arms all the way up. Shoulders would stack on top of the hips. Shoulders drop down. the spine so that the armpits are spinning forward with external rotation in the shoulders, with the gaze straight forward, if anything, chin slightly down. That's for today's practice. Like I said, we're working a bit more about keeping the mind quiet, and when we lift the chin and arch the back a lot, that's going to have a Brahmana effect, so this activating effect, which we would work in some practices for very specific reasons, but for what we're going with, for what we want to do right now, is to start ourselves off really calm, really quiet in the mind. And once we cultivate that stability, then we could start playing a little bit more with activation and energy and prana. But first things first. So, one more time, all together. We have the right leg forward, left leg back, arms above the head, a little bit of an arch in the back, but drawing the navel in, hips square, gaze is forward so the back of the neck is long, and for today, we'll bring the shoulders slightly in front of the hips, so it's almost like a diagonal line, if you can see, from my fingertips down my spine, all the way down the back leg into the heel of the foot. Cool? All right, so now let's work dynamically through that. So starting in your warrior one, let's take the right leg forward, arms overhead. Beautiful. So now I'll mirror you here. So arms are overhead. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, sink the hips a bit deeper. Out the nose, navel draws back. Beautiful. Inhale, now straighten your right leg. Draw that right hip back so hip stays square. Keep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward as far as you can over the right leg. Bend the knee when you need to. Keeping the arms reaching out in front. Inhale, reach the arms back up, lead with the thumbs, re-bend the right leg. We're back where we started in warrior one. Exhale, stay here, ground. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale to fold, nice and controlled with the spine long. Keeping the arms lifted, biceps wide ears. Inhale, rise up as you re-bend your right leg, taking Virabhadrasana 1. Let's do 3 more like that. Inhale, broaden the chest. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, re-bend. Arms reach up overhead. Body at a slight diagonal, gazes forward. Exhale, beautiful. Sink the hips deeper, drop the shoulders down the back. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Pull the right hip back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, coming back up, rebend your right leg. Arms reach up. If this is ever too much on your lower back, just bring your hands to your lower back. I'll try one like that for you so you have that modification. Inhale, straightening the right leg. Exhale, fold forward as you pull the right hip back. So you can always sweep the arms here. Now let's stay here. Take an inhale, lift halfway up, chin to chest. Exhale, fold back forward. Take your hands on either side of your foot. And if they don't touch the floor, you can either just bend the knees a little bit or take 2 blocks and place your hands firmly on those blocks. So now we're in pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. With this pose, front heel is still directly in the middle of the back heel. Arms are down by the right foot, and they're either on the floor or on your blocks at whatever height you need those blocks to be at, so you can keep the integrity of your spine being straight. So my less flexible friends will look a little bit more like this. My more flexible friends may look a little bit more like this. Cycle through 3 more breaths. Close the eyes, stay inward, cultivate stability in the body and steadiness in the mind. And on your next inhale, take that halfway lift again. Exhale, left hand to the inside of your right foot, right hand up to the ceiling to twist to your right, spinning the chest towards the sky. Maybe get a little chiropractic adjustment there. Go ahead and stay in that twist. Gaze can either be up to the sky, out, or down to the floor, your choice. And really find a nice deep twist. So from the center of the navel, this helps a lot with stability in the lower back, finding more flexibility and strength in the lumbar spine. Also stirring up some of that digestive fire. One more breath, nice and steady, nice and still. Exhale that breath out. Then when you inhale, lower your gaze and lower your right arm down to the floor. Exhale, stay here. And just bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, rise all the way up with a straight spine. Exhale, step forward to the top of your mountain pose, Tadasana, pause. Close your eyes and just experience whatever sensations you can attune yourself to. Maybe you feel the heart beating faster or the mind more focused. Maybe you feel firmly planted, centered, and rooted in your beautiful self. When you're ready, we'll blink the eyes open. And we'll take that whole thing on the other side. So dynamic warrior one, holding pyramid pose, and then going into our revolved triangle. Yeah? I'll talk you guys through it all. So step your left leg forward now, your right leg back. I'll mirror you again. Hands to the hips, that'll help you square them off. So now we're pulling the left hip back, right hip forward, bending your left leg till it makes that square shape, knee stacking over the ankle, in line with the second toe. Soft bend in the back knee if you need it, but really firm through the feet. Almost feel like you're pressing down and inward so the inner thighs start to engage. So that way if you have a slippery mat or you're sweaty, you wouldn't even feel that you would slide into the Hanumanasana, into the splits by accident. So you really want to feel firm by planting the feet down and squeezing them in towards each other. Beautiful. And then from here, when you're ready, on an inhale, you can sweep your arms up overhead. Stay here as you exhale. Just draw the navel back. Drop your shoulders away from the ears and bring your chest slightly forward. Gaze slightly downward. Wonderful. Let's work dynamically through this. Go ahead and inhale. Straightening the left leg this time. Exhale, fold forward over your left leg. Inhale, rise back up, rebend your left leg. Exhale, set yourself here, maybe even pick up the pelvic floor, engaging Mula Bandha. Inhale, straighten your left leg, hips square, gaze forward, navel draws in. Long, slow exhale with control, spine stays long, gaze is down, chin to chest. Reaching the thumbs back to the sky. Inhale, rebend your left leg, rise all the way up. Exhale, sink the hips deeper, find your foundation. Shoulders slightly in front of the hips. 3 more. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, fold forward, left hip pulls back. Feel free to put a little bend in the knee or don't go down as far or sweep the hands to the lower back. Inhale, rise back into warrior one. Exhale, root yourself here. Mind quiet, body steady. Nothing can shake you. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale with control, rise up. Warrior one, bending the left leg. Exhale, hips sink down a bit deeper, navel draws back. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale to fold forward. Hands to the floor to your blocks. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale to fold forward into Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. We'll take 5 breaths holding pyramid pose. Really lengthen out your exhalations, feeling your belly press into the left front thigh when you inhale. Feel free to use your blocks or bend your left leg here. And if your right leg is feeling like it's coming off the floor, bring it a little bit closer into the front foot. You are not your thoughts. Just watch them, notice them, and let them float by. Stay interested in the breath, in the body, and the mind. We'll take this into Revolved Triangle now, so take a deep breath in. Exhale, plant your right hand to the inside of your left foot, reaching the left hand all the way up and over. Gaze can follow the fingertips or just go out or down. Down would be the most stable, up would be the least. Feel free to put a little bend in the left leg and make sure to draw the left hip back so the hip stays square. Now think about trying to bring the inside of your right shoulder towards the inside of your left knee. Deepening that twist as the spine spirals to the left. Building that force within us that allows us to digest and integrate what we do on our mat into our lives. Even though it starts to get uncomfortable and we want to fidget and move, see if you could just do your best and experience this place even if it's uncomfortable. Just notice what that feels like to be uncomfortable, where your edge is at, and can you just remain the witness? Be above it, be beyond the pose. Finish this cycle of breath. On your next inhale, lower your gaze, lower your left hand down. Exhale, take the hands to the hips. With a straight spine, shoulders roll back. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, step your right leg forward, take Tadasana. Pause here, let your clothes and your hair be exactly where they fall. And just drop into this present moment. How good does it feel to be alive and in your own body? Just takes a few minutes. Just even that right there can be a wonderful way to start your day, getting the body moving, getting the pranic channels clear, and just getting your mind laser focused. So that's all that I wanted to go through with you guys today. Practice at home. This will be part of our whole complete practice by the time we get to the end of this 28 days. If you have any questions, please comment below. Make sure you subscribe. Our next video, look out for it. We'll be working on good old, maybe I shouldn't tell you, maybe you won't watch. Good old chair pose. It's a good one though. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Mwah.